Grace and peace, friends and family. Thank you so much for joining me on this conversation. This is Joy. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend with me. I truly appreciate you being here. And it's my sincere hope that this would be time well spent, that you would be able to get something, glean something from this conversation that helps you on your journey of recovery, on your journey of healing. I want to talk to you today about that soul hurt that we experience in this relationship or after the relationship with the narcissist. We experience the soul hurt when we realize that things aren't what they seem to be. It's during the devaluation that pain starts, but it's amplified with the discard. Because when the discard comes, the truth is revealed. There is no more hiding who they are. We may not initially know the severity of the fraud during the devaluation, but at the discard, the mask is completely off and we see what we could not see before. Sometimes we see what we did not want to see. And I don't want you to feel bad for not seeing what you didn't see. Listen, I didn't see what was in front of me. And I've done all the beating myself over the head. I've said all the horrible things to myself that anybody can say. I've said those things. I've believed those things. But I'm here to tell you that it's not productive to your journey going forward. And it's time to stop talking to yourself like that. You're deceived by a predator, and that is all that it is. You are deceived by a predator. And so now we put that on the forefront, and that is the truth that is going to lead us. They were predators, and they were doing what predators do. One of the most devastating emotions that I felt, or one of the strongest, should I say, was shame. I felt so much shame that you should have known better. How could you be with such a person? Why didn't you see all these signs? But one thing about shame, and I know I'm not the only one, we feel shame, we feel embarrassed, we feel regret, we feel despair, desperation, hopelessness. These are damaging emotions. And what amplifies it is that there is no apology that comes. There is no closure that will come from the person that you had such intimate moments with. And even trying to ask for that apology or get that closure is an unrealistic expectation. Closure is always going to be the gift that you give yourself. It is going to be like a superpower. If you can truly accept that, listen, this was a predator. They did what predators do. It is not my fault, and I'm moving on. That is your gift to yourself. But with these emotions that we feel, it leaves us feeling empty, or they leave us feeling empty and depleted. And that's only because you gave from a pure place in your heart. You're kind, you're compassionate, you are caring, and none of it was reciprocated. You find out they were frauds. That is devastating. What happens is they build you up throughout the relationship. And what we know now is that they placed us on pedestals, complimented us, made you feel loved, did things for you. But it was never with an intention to truly love you. They did these things for you during the love bombing stage, knowing that this is not really who I am, knowing that this isn't going to be forever, knowing their character. They knew the essence of who they are. You are not the first victim. You're not the first time it happened. But this has been an occurrence throughout their lives. You are just a casualty of war, a casualty of their lifestyle. But they made you feel loved. But we know that, they lack empathy. Narcissists lack empathy. So it's not a genuine love. It's just something that they're able to mirror you because they've practiced that action throughout time, over the years. What they've been gathering from other souls and they've learned from other people, they feed it to you. And that is what makes you feel special. They draw you in. But at the end of the day, all they are doing is playing the role of a soul hunter, a predator. And all of this creates a trauma bond. It creates that soul tie. But let's not for any moment in time think that it was a mistake. It was not a mistake. They know fully well who they are. They know that they are causing you a deep pain. They know that they are lying to you. They know that they will betray you. They know that they blame you, they blame shift, they deflect. They know all of those things cause pain. They had no good intention, and absolutely nothing is real. And these are the things that make our souls hurt. These are the things that crush a person's soul. They are cruel, they are evil, they are deceptive. And even the way they devalue you is cruel. Even the way they discard you is cruel. Like, the discard was harsh. That's all I know. But they make you feel as if you are never good enough for them. They make you feel like you are just the gum on the bottom of their shoes. That's how badly they devalue you. But the truth of the matter is, that's nothing more than projection. That's how they feel about themselves. It has no indication on the essence of who you are. You have to remember that nobody outside of God defines you. Nobody outside of God has the ability to put a stamp of approval on you, because He already did it. He said, before I formed you in your mother's womb, before He formed you, He knew who you were. He had spent time with you before time to appoint you, to approve you, to validate you, to speak life into you, so that you would come into the earth and fulfill a purpose that He already placed in you. The narcissist knows they were never good enough for you, but they want you to feel that way because they don't feel good enough for themselves. And they know that they were never good enough for you. But then we also factor in the infidelity, and how harsh the reality of it is because it's never really just one other person. It's multiple. And I know some will say, well, the narcissist I was with didn't cheat. They all cheat. And I want to just be clear. There is, yes, the physical cheating, but there's also emotional cheating. And so they leave you with all of this pain and this shame and this regret and this anger. So what do you do? What do you do with all of this? How do we heal? How do we move on? It's important that you take time to grieve. Allow yourself time. Don't jump into a new relationship, because oftentimes that's when you make the mistake and end up with another narc. But allow yourself time. Validate your emotions and allow yourself to really feel what you feel. And it's a painful place. It's painful. It hurts. I know. I've been there. And one thing about your emotions, don't ever feel like they define you. They don't. That's just a feeling that you are having. It is not an indictment on your character. It is not character assassination. It is just what you are experiencing at that moment. The most important part is that you don't lay down and make love with these emotions, that you become enmeshed with them. Validate your emotions. And ask yourself, okay, I'm feeling sad. What am I, what is making me sad in these moments or in this moment? And write it down. And then counter that with positive thoughts. Another thing is to find a new source of fulfillment, a new source of joy. And this is going to allow you to spend some time self-reflecting, reconnecting with yourself. It'll introduce you into a new level of self-awareness. But find something that you like to do. And, when you find that thing that you decide that this is what I'm going to do, whether it's, let's just use roller skating, for example. When you're skating and you have your appointed time and you said, I'm going to skate for 30 minutes. Within that 30 minutes, enjoy yourself. Think of think of something to meditate on and use that as you skate. If a thought of the narcissist comes into your mind, you speak that thing out. Actively engage in the process of casting them out of your mind, so that you can create an environment that is completely narcissist free. And it starts one step at a time. That's one thing that I did. And when the thought of him would come, I would have to tell myself, no, Narc, be gone. Another thing is, make a list of the things that you like about yourself. What do you like about yourself? Focus on those things. Focus on areas that you want to improve on. Set some goals for yourself. A lot of times these relationships make you lose sight of your own goals. But now here's time for us to get our mind off them by focusing on ourselves, who truly matters. Because your longest relationship, as we all know, is with ourselves. And you have to be comfortable in your own skin. And you need to be happy. You need to have joy in your own skin. So that means doing the things that make you happy, that bring you peace, that bring you joy, that bring you fulfillment. So focus on those things, set the goals, and reward yourself for those things. And it's also important that you acknowledge the truth about the narcissist. A lot of times we romanticize the relationship and we go back into the love bombing stages and think about how amazing they were. But when those thoughts creep up in your mind, remind yourself that that joker is a soul hunter, that joker is a soul hunter. That joker is a soul hunter. Yeah, it's just that serious. They are predators. Always set things back into perspective. A lot of times I would ask myself, but how could he do this to me? Even when I acknowledge that, okay, he's a narcissist. Okay, he's a soul hunter. And then I'm like, but why would he do this to me? Because that's his character. That's their DNA. That's the choice that he made. It's honestly just that simple. It may be harsh, but it really is just that simple. That's who they are. But express your needs to other people within safe spaces. Not everybody needs to hear what you're going through. Not everybody needs to have, that information. But the people that are there for you, who truly have your back and you can trust, express your needs. Tell them what it is that you want. And also be sure that, that your needs are really what you truly need, emotional support, mental support. Do you need, an ear to listen to, or somebody just to listen to you? Do you need to vent? But another thing, I should have said that earlier when I was talking about, your emotions, or acknowledging your emotions, is allow them to flow. Don't try to block them. Sometimes we try to shut things out. And this is where, people may fall into the trap of getting into new habits that may become addictive, but may not be beneficial. Shopping, drinking, smoking, all of those type of things. Even working out to an extent, excessively can become a problem. Pay attention to, what you're giving yourself to, and allow it to nurture you. But don't hinder those emotions by masking them. Allow them to flow, because it's what's on the inside of you. They're on the inside and they need to come out. And them coming out is just like draining something toxic that is out of you. You've been in this relationship with this predator, this narcissist, for X amount of time. And there's no way that you can be in a toxic environment and not ingest some toxicity. And the toxicity may take shape as bitterness, resentment, anger, shame. Those feelings, those are not good feelings, right? But those are the things that we pick up as a result of these connections. Allow them to flow out of you. One thing that I actively prayed for is, God, this bitterness has to go, because I was bitter. I gave of myself, and what did I get in return? And it's not to say that this is a tit for tat type of situation, but like, dude, if you didn't want a proper relationship or a real relationship, you should have just said so. There are plenty of people who would have wanted what you were doing, who are ready to play those games with you. But they don't, they come after you. They come after me. They come after us. And so that bitterness is real. That resentment is real, but it has to flow. We have to get rid of it because it only hinders us in the long run. You know, it's almost like there's a curse for being with them. And what I mean when I say a curse is that if we don't release that bitterness, it hurts us, it hinders us, and it delays us, or it can even hold us from moving forward in life. So I'm going to use myself for example. Because of that bitterness, I could have ended up saying all men are dogs, all men are evil, all men are trash, when in actuality it's just the narcissist that I dealt with that was evil, that was trash, that was a predator, that is a soul hunter. It's not all men. And so why I called it a curse is if we don't handle it correctly, you might be saying all women are good for nothing, all women are players, all women are trash, when we're really not all the same. They just are who they are. And why it's a curse is because then it keeps you from allowing healing to take place and then experiencing something real and something beautiful in the future. But it's important that, you just continue to put your needs at the forefront. Put your needs at the forefront. Avoid doing things that remind you of your ex. Avoid them. Allow yourself to just, start finding new things that are beneficial for you. These are some of the things that I actively did in my healing journey. And every now and then I check in with myself to say, to see what can I do to continue the journey of healing, because I feel like it's a journey that we're going to be on for a while. And also just as a way to self-reflect and see, okay, how are you? And what do you need right now? This is one reason why I always ask you at the beginning of videos is, how are you doing? Because I want you to answer that question. And there's nothing wrong with not being okay. The problem is when you say I'm okay when you're really not. But if you're not okay, then ask yourself, what do I need? What do I need to do to be okay? You can say, I'm not okay right now, but I will be okay. And that's another way you can speak life over yourself, but always acknowledge where you are. But don't forget, you are the most important or the strongest prophet in your own life. So speak life. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. So yeah, I might not be okay right now, but I will be okay. I may not be okay in this moment, but I know who holds my future. So my future is looking better than it is today. I thank you so much for your time. I hope that this gives you some tips on how to help your healing journey as you transition, because you may be walking through the valley of the shadow of death, but don't fear. God is with you. He will never leave nor forsake you. He goes before you. He is with you. He is behind you. Grace and mercy chase you down. Those are the footsteps you hear sometimes behind you. The favor of the Lord is upon your life. So continue to be fearless as you pursue your most significant state. I thank you so much for your time. God bless you.